Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kirklees Guitar School Podcast. I'm joined with my co-host, Mr. George Loveridge. How you doing, George?
I'm really good, James. How are you?
I'm all right. We've got a really cool episode lined up for today.
Yes.
That's just a little bit different to the usual scheduled programming. But first and foremost, the most important thing, has this week been a rock or a roll?
It's another rock. Keeping it positive, another rock. I played my last acoustic gig on Sunday.
Wow, okay.
So that's the end of the
come
season.
round quick.
It has from April to now, October today. Yes, come around quickly. Last gig. It started off, we thought we were going to get sent home because of the rain.
Right,
But then
okay.
so we went in full winter warmers to play outside. And then it was cracking flags by the afternoon. So last Sunday in September, for any of you that were out and about, it was quite warm. In the evening.
I feel like it's just clinging onto it for dear life, but then all of a sudden it's just going to get really dark and really cold.
Yes, definitely.
Before
But yeah,
too
I had playing outside, the only pitfalls is that guitars don't like to stay in tune. Damp, cold weather, not good for tuning. And I had a spider wrapping a web around my head during a song. And I was about to say batted, but starting with a T, rhyming the same. Batted a wasp away with my headstock.
Oh, wow,
which was fun, yeah. And we had this couple that were dancing to sort of the Supremes and stuff we do, and they said, Summer 69. And my brain went, okay. And we'd never played that one.
Oh, wow.
So I just started playing the chords, and we had Boss Man in the corner who pays us.
Yeah.
Like, we best do it well, and we did it fine.
Right, and I bet your gigging partner.
Yeah, she was like,
Was
thank you
thrilled.
very much. She just Googled the lyrics quickly on her phone. She doesn't usually use stuff for lyrics, but she had to. But yeah. And I mentioned last week, got a new tie.
So what is it?
We'll come to it a bit later, but this is a Harley Benton Max Fusion signature.
Right.
That's its full Sunday name. It's a
Is
signature
it a
model.
signature of? Yeah, who's
Yeah, so
it?
it's called Max. I forget his surname. That's really bad already. I'd never heard of him. But essentially, I got this Tom & Had a Guitar Days deal where this was heavily discounted. These don't come up very often. They're already out of stock. They do them in a green and a purple. I went for this holographic sort of Dark Side of the Moon finish with a black back on it. It's an aorta body. Here's me not getting into the specs. But yeah, they're already on eBay for like well over the odds of what I paid.
Is that one of those there roasted maple necks as well?
Yes, it's a Canadian roasted maple neck. I love a maple neck. So I played out, you've got an Ibanez over there. Played Ibanez's before and they play themselves because the necks are so thin.
Yeah.
This actually makes you play properly. And I really like that. It's got a good intuitive feel to it.
Yeah, for the 2 minutes I picked it up earlier this week and had to go at it. Yeah, it's a bit more of a sort of, almost feels more like a Gibson neck. It's just got a little bit more chonk.
Chonk, yes. And speaking of chonk, has it been a rock or a roll for you?
Yeah, it's been a really good. Really good week this week. I did my last gig of the run with Northern Live, nice and close to home. I was in Barnsley. A really interesting venue. It's called the Birdwell venue.
Yeah, wicked venue. I've seen a Metallica tribute there before.
And we normally do theatres with that band, and it was quite interesting trying to do that show in a club setting.
It's all
It went
standing,
down
isn't it?
really well, yeah. But that meant they were all doing the proper like Northern Soul dancing and stuff.
wow,
It was
that'd be magic.
it was a good gig. It was good, and nothing's been 100% confirmed yet. But I think I might be going to Spain with them next year with the Northern
hola.
Live crew. So we'll see. We'll see. More on that to follow
Nice.
if it happens. I need to sort Mrs. Q&L into it first.
Yes.
I bought an Ibanez a couple of weeks ago. We were
You've
saving
teased
it
it.
for this episode. I did tease it a little bit, so yeah, I'll talk about this when we get into the episode. But today's episode's all about Super Strats.
Super
isn't it?
Strats, yeah, so-
Let's do a little rundown then. What we're going to talk about that pertains to Super Strats this week,
Fab.
George?
So we're starting with our technical focus. What is a Super Strat? You've heard the term brandished around before. Think of the most iconic 80s guitar tones you've ever heard. They would have come from things like this. So what is a Super Strat? Where did they come from? Who played them? We're then looking at our tone talk. What music came from Super Strats? It's all well and good talking about them, but what actually is the benefit and what songs do you know or not know that came from them? Then we've got Pick Our Brains talking about a future artist profile. But speaking of artist profiles, we did Gary Moore last week.
We did. Now, we're not going to labour on the point too much today, but we got the feedback from the community, and we like to think here at Kirklees Guitar School we shoot pretty straight. But we did get some of his facts wrong due to poor planning on our part. Now, it wasn't. I don't feel like we were. I don't feel like it was too. We. What am I trying to say, George?
You're trying to say we got a bit giddy and went, oh, Gary Moore, he played in Thin Lizzy and played a Les Paul. Great, end of story. When actually there's a hell of a lot more to it.
Yeah.
We're very fastidious. We shout at the TV a lot and we
Speak
correct
for yourself,
things.
George.
Yes. But hey, we got it wrong. we're a learning platform here. We learn every day just as much as you guys in the community do. So we will better ourselves for our next artist.
Try and do better next time. Basically, the crux of it is I think we both thought that Mr. Moore had a bit more involvement with Lizzie than he actually did.
Yeah.
And I think as well, we both learned at a time pre-internet, but we didn't exist at that time either. So a lot of the knowledge that we have on this was kind of grandfathered down from other people, and a bit of Chinese whispers has gone on there. So yeah, we do apologise, and we'll try better next time. So let's get into today's show.
Absolutely. So Super Strats. What is a Super Strat?
Are you asking me that, or is that rhetorical?
Who's taking it? Am I
right,
taking it?
Okay, so a Super Strat, there became a point in music, kind of, would you say early 80s?
I'd say late 70s, as early as that.
Right, okay. Where bands, you have all those classic rock bands from sort of the mid to late 70s, you know, with guitar players like Paul Kossoff and those guys that are playing Les Pauls into Marshalls. Richie Blackmore is another one.
Purple.
And they just reached a point where they couldn't squeeze any more gain out of the old-fashioned instruments. Now, just to be clear, like I've played Super Strats on and off for years, but my heart has always been in the Stratocaster and the Les Paul.
Same. I'm a telly guy through and through. Yeah. But at this point, those guitars were 20 years old and they wanted more.
And they wanted more gain and more, be able to play faster licks. So people started modifying the Strats, didn't they? Most notably, Eddie Van Halen was the person that sort of was the poster child for that generation, but everybody was doing it. You know, if you look at vintage guitars from the 70s, guitars from the 70s that are now perceived to be vintage, a lot of them have been modified. It was a big, I feel like that point and the Super Strat was the start of the culture of people modifying their own guitars.
I would believe so, yeah.
So what's different about a Super Strat compared to just a run-of-the-mill?
Okay, so you've essentially got more than three main attributes. Humbucking pickups.
Yeah.
If you think of a normal Stratocaster, you've got 3 single coils. They're fine, but humbuckers, you got twice the power. Humbucking pickups, thin neck, mega thing. I know we said this one isn't very thin. Thin neck allows for that, as you said, more speed, better riffs, bigger riffs. Tremolo system, dive bombs, Floyd Roses,
which we'll get into in a second. But what do you think sort of sparked that? What do you think was the first problem that the Stratocaster had? That
it'll be tuning. It'll be, I think, tuning.
Do you think so?
Yeah, and scope as well. The trem. If you Hank Marvin searchers, not the searchers. Careful comments. The shadows, foot tapper, great, and all that sort of stuff. But it allows for a little warble. These are screaming death metal machines.
There's a lot more
comparison.
range. I feel like the first roadblock, well, personally, that I hit with the Stratocaster when I was I did it the other way around. I got a Super Strat first, and then I got a Stratocaster afterwards. I normally, the way I tend to do things in my life is normally backwards.
Yeah.
So why should that
sense,
be any different? One thing I found with the Stratocaster, particularly in the sort of, I'm talking like 50s and 60s spec Stratocasters, I'd be bending notes and I wouldn't be able to get to the top of the note. Occasionally they'd choke out. I'd bend
big
a
frets,
string,
sorry, yeah.
And these little teeny tiny little thin frets made of chocolate really inhibited any of those kind of big, but you think of something like, I know most of the stuff from that era that I'm into was played on a Les Paul, but the difference between a Les Paul and a Fender is the frets. Is a massive deal. You know, I can bend far further on a standard Les Paul than I can a standard sort of 50 series Strat, and I feel like that was the start of it. And we all kind of, as you learn more about the guitar, you kind of learn more about the creature comforts and what you like. Like my 60 spec Strat, I had a big set of stainless steel frets put in it because I'd worn the others out because they were all, but I play really heavy-handed and I'm finding how I bend in stuff.
He wasn't getting there.
And, you know, you bend a note and you sort of starts choking out, whereas this has got lovely big jumbo frets. And I can bend as far as I want until it's only the string really that's going to give out. So yeah, I feel like frets and a slightly thinner neck is a sort of like one of the perks, and that sort of started this whole thing. I know changing pickups is quite
massive,
quite a big thing for modders, isn't it?
Yeah, EVH put in a Gibson style humbucker. I think it actually was a Gibson humbucker in his first iteration of the Franken Strat.
Would that be path pickup that he put in?
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not that well versed in it.
So people talk about path pickups, and it means pattern applied for.
Oh, right.
So early Gibsons didn't. They'd applied for the patent for the pickups, and lots of people are looking for those sort of like late 50s pickups that were in the first Les Pauls when they made the switch across. And that was the style of pickup. They essentially would have gone to somebody like Grover Jackson or anyone and go, can you put a Gibson humbucker in the bridge of this? I've been talking to Aquith Guitar Setups at the top of the road. They're going to start making guitars before too long.
You say Jackson and Charvel, they started in the early 80s building these Strats for people.
These were the shops. Like, I'd go to my tech at the top of the road and go, here's this Strat, I like it, but I'd like it even more if there was a humbucker in the bridge position. And then the chisel it out and make it fit. So this sort of spawned a whole kind of subset of guitar techs and luthiers that eventually turned into their own brands in their own right, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's the 70s, sort of why we're talking about why the Super Strat changed rock music. You look at Ritchie Blackmore and Smoke on the Water. Great solo, but it's not screaming solo.
But I feel like if Blackmore would have had more at his disposal...
Well, exactly, that's what I mean. So you go from glam rock to that sort of prog rock, and then, I mean, I know Gilmour used a Strat his whole career, virtually, but you then take someone like J.K. Lee, playing a Super Strat in the late 70s, and you just start to turn up the heat a little bit, and then you get your Motley Crues, and it sort of goes on. But then you get Slash, who's faithful to his Les Paul, but it's a different genre of music.
And I think it's just finding what you like, isn't it? But I think it came at such the right time because music and culture and everything, the whole thing of the 80s was more is more.
Oh, yeah, these are excessive. This is 100%. This is a big bottle of hairspray.
Look at the finishes on these two guitars. I mean, mine's a little bit more subtle than George's, but if you get it in the right light, it does look like...
it looks like a firework.
Well, I said to... I took this home a couple of weeks ago and went, I've done it again. And we
I wonder why you were sleeping outside that night.
Under a cardboard box. And I said to my wife, like, are those fireworks or is that blood splatter? I couldn't decide which one. And my eldest comes across and she went, blood splatter, and then just disappeared.
Cool, rock and roll.
Yeah. So she's...
So what is a Super Strat then? What is that Super Strat?
So this is an Ibanez RG guitar. Now, it's based on the Stratocaster platform. It's got big frets, skinny little neck, which gives you... It's quite wide, but thin.
Yeah, the nut radius is wider, isn't it, than a normal Strat?
Yeah.
I think 44 mil rather than 43.
And this is all kind of based on feedback from players that do really
Shredders.
fast stuff. Yeah, so who are notable Ibanez artists? Somebody like Steve Vai.
Yeah.
Paul Gilbert. I've probably spent the past month down a Paul Gilbert rabbit hole, learning all the sort of.
He says.
But that's all 3-note per string.
You're not allowed to play that on a 54 Strat.
Well, you are, but you might get...
It just doesn't sound good and you'll get told off.
But what that does is, I can play this guitar... Well, it's got some really angry-looking pickups. They look like EMGs. They're not. They're just humbuckers with covers on them, yeah. And then it's got this, which is called a Floyd Rose. Now, a Floyd Rose is a tremolo that can go down and up.
Invented in 1979.
Okay.
Yes.
But why is that important? Well, a Stratocaster, you can set it as floating, but it's kind of like, well, you'll know this, it's kind of like owning a classic car, right? On Sundays, when the sun's out and everything's working, it's great.
Yes.
But most times you get to it and it won't start and it won't do what it's supposed to do and you have to mess about with it. Stratocaster tremolos, if you set them, you've got to kind of keep up to them. They're a pain in the neck.
Yes.
I always bottom mine out so that they only go down.
Yeah, likewise, yeah.
And it's far more consistent to do that, whereas these are meant to be floating, so I can go down.
And that's a long way.
A long
that's
way.
a hell of a long way.
I can also go up as well. Not as far. I don't want to do it while you're on camera. I'm not going to go as far.
I don't want a string in my eye, thank you very much.
That's it. But this has really helped players developed what I call fretboard acrobatics.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah? So you can hear somebody going...
or leading with a pinch harmonic into it. EVH's Elephant.
Yeah,
That's
or Steve Vai's Bad Horsey.
Yes,
It's a great
yep.
example of that. I can make it near like a horse now because you're all watching me. I won't be able to do it. Yeah, that's it. But could you tell us a little bit more about the Floyd and how you use it? Because this is your first guitar that you've owned with the Floyd Rose.
Yes, I used to have a Gretsch with a Bigsby, which is simple. You've got your Epiphone with a Bigsby. This is a Floyd Rose 1000 series. It's pretty universal. Now, for what this Floyd Rose on its own is worth 3/4 of what the guitar is. They're not cheap.
No.
They're quite a welcome addition to guitars. Essentially, it works like a tremolo system in the springs in the back of the guitar as well. But you'll notice what makes them a bit fiddly, because there's a lot of bad press around Floyd Rose in terms of setup. You actually chop the end of the string off, if I'm correct, and there's little pegs that lock the string in the end of the bridge. And that essentially allows you that you can dive bomb, which is the technical term, I suppose, and keep intonation. That's the key thing. Compared to a Strat tremolo or a Bigsby, you can stand on this, park your car on it, and it will still be in tune.
In theory.
In theory. I'm not going to push it.
You've got to keep up to them. But
Yes.
the idea is that you kind of, you get the guitar in tune, you lock these down.
Yeah, locking nut,
You lock these down, and it stays. Like, I bought this guitar 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe. I've tuned it once.
Yeah.
So when they work really well, but they're notoriously difficult to restring.
When I
reset
restring this, when I don't restring this, it'll be going to Ackworth, because I just want to get it right now. I've noticed on yours, the Floyd Rose is meant to sit flush with the body of the guitar. Yours is quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so potentially Tristan might want to have a look at that.
There's a long line of guitars that need to go up there before
enough.
this one,
Yeah,
but
right.
most notably, I'm gonna send that custom up there for a setup. I think at some point, and I might get my J45 some point before next Christmas, hopefully. But yeah, they do have the quirks like most things, but there's certain, we spoke about this in a previous episode. There's certain things that I can't. This guitar, I bought this because it was much cheaper than the one. I've sort of cheaped out a little bit to get a job done. There's a load of Bon Jovi lessons that I want to do for the Kirklees Guitar School lessons channel. You should have all seen Living on a Prayer already. I want to do You Give Love a Bad Name soon as well. But I don't currently have a tool in my arsenal that I can play accurately on. Like, because I don't have a guitar with a Floyd Rose. So that kind of started that as it's a need and a want at the same time.
Yeah, you're scratching an itch, aren't you?
But I had an Ibanez a long time ago that I'm going to make a video on about. It's the one that got away. It's the one that I should have never sold, and I kind of bought this to kind of ease that pain a little bit more. Yeah. But yeah, more on that to follow later on. So what are some examples of other songs that you like to play, George, that having a Super Strat makes it easier to get what's on the record?
All of these songs I've played before on various guitars. My home-built Telecaster with twin humbuckers, that helps. My Les Paul with twin humbuckers. But the attraction with this one, I'll get onto them, is that this has what we call a coil tap in it, which is why I bought this. I bought it, could have blown my brains out financially, but I didn't, because I wanted to scratch that itch like you, at a budget example. The coil tap makes this so much more versatile. It essentially splits these humbuckers into single coil pickups and makes the sound thinner, which I know kind of defeats the point.
So what does that sound like then?
Okay, so in the room, if I turn my tuner off, this is my neck pickup, so the bassy one. Now on a chord it doesn't sound, but if I play a lead line, humbucker, especially on the middle position, it actually sounds a bit like a normal Strat. Humbucker. With all this gain on, you're not going to hear it as much as clean.
I'm struggling to hear the difference.
It does make a good difference. But back to some of these examples then.
Okay.
So what songs use these sorts of guitars? Well, in a sort of pop rock sense, Pour Some Sugar on Me,
Okay.
Def Leppard.
You like
he played
a Def Leppard.
Yeah, he played local band, 1987. They spent millions recording this album and came up with this 3-chord song. Biggest hit ever.
Yeah.
Wicked riff with a bit of interference there. Pour Some Sugar on Me, fantastic. There's a band called Rat. I know you're not too familiar with
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can get up my pitch shifter for this one because it's actually an E flat.
All right, okay.
That's another thing these Super Strats did really well. You lock them in E flat, look at Steel Panther, for example, that sort of thing. So if I get this in E flat, my guitar now should be in E flat, and you got this riff. It's got so much aggression compared to, say, like a normal 70s riff.
But like, I'm watching you play that, and I don't know anything about Rat. I couldn't even tell you any of the songs.
I know one song, Round and Round.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm watching you play that, and I'm still seeing the same kind of like 70s rock tricks.
It's like a 2468 motorway.
But there's so much more gain and aggression that guitar's enabling you to dig in that little bit more.
Yeah.
Like you compare something like Panama.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Get Panama. We know what it sounds like. Yeah, keep going.
You're, so, and I sort of think it's just like, it's taking the same ideas, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where we're at in rock history. Mm-hmm. We've all got the same 12 notes. It's just what happens with it. And how did we get from Buddy Holly going...
Peggy Sue. Yeah.
Into...
or your...
you know...
Wow. What a contrast. In 20 years, you have to bear in mind.
Yeah.
In a 20-year period.
Maybe a bit more. Maybe more like 30.
Well, it wasn't Back of the Moon 79?
No.
I
think it's later.
All right, but still, yeah.
But okay, so we did quite a lot talking about Black Sabbath and Ozzy at the beginning of Series 2, didn't we? But you compare those two guitarists back to back, Randy Rhoads and Jakey Lee. Mm-hmm. Randy Rhoads is well known for playing Gibson Les Pauls into Marshalls, yeah?
Yeah, scream, always JCM 800s.
Now, he did have the Jacksons and the Floyd Rose and all that kind of stuff,
it.
but I feel like that was at the very kind of like start of people modding the guitars. By the time Jakey Lee came in, it was at full swing, and you compare... I mean, the guitar players are both stellar, absolutely amazing. But you compare anything on Blizzard of Oz to anything... Was Bark at the Moon just a single, or was it an album? Let us know in the comments. Yeah. But if you compare Bark at the Moon to, let's say, Crazy Train or Mr. Crowley, there's so much more gain in Jakey Lee's sound, and I think the technology and having the right tools for the job have enabled him. If Randy had have had that, I feel like it'd have been a similar...
Well, he played a Charvel, didn't he, Jakey Lee?
Is that what it was?
I
just
ESP?
sort of think it's a...
Either ESP... Well, that's the thing. Everyone started getting in on it now, sort of capitalising. You get Washburn, Jackson, Charvel, PRS, Ibanez, Kramer. Everyone sort of went for that sort of thing. Yeah. And I think Eddie played a combination of all of them throughout his career. I know he did a lot with Kramer as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's that whole idea, lightweight body, Strat visually looking like a Strat. Yeah. But it's had its guts ripped out and it's got a V8 motor put inside it. Think of it like that.
Yeah, and it's just hot rodding, isn't it?
Yes,
and
definitely.
Some people went full hog. Like I've had a space in my collection that since that blue Ibanez left, I've tried to replace it with various Super Strats, and they've all just not had the same magic, and I don't know what it is.
I think it's like an old, going back to cars, like TVR.
Right.
You've got to have, if you're going to go crazy, lightweight body, V8 engine, big exhaust, you need a finish, as I say, manipulating it in the light. You can't have one of these in black. Well, black's always good, but you know what I mean? Like a candy pink, or like a Daphne blue, like a Strat, which is nice.
I had a Daphne blue Charvel. Do you remember that one?
Yes, yeah. But it needs to be garish, and that's the whole point.
More is more.
Yeah, this is excess on excess, and that's why we love them.
So, gear's fun. Gear's great. We all like gear. But bringing it back to guitar lessons, what are some... If a guitar player wants to get into a little bit of that sort of Super Strat...
Big hair metal.
Yeah, songs. What kind of songs and techniques...
Okay, so you need to brush up on your power chords.
Right.
Instantly. Power chords. You, just massive power chords. Pentatonic scales as well. Your single note playing is key.
I'd look at, it's not really something we teach a lot of, and maybe as we go further down this rabbit hole, it's something that we look into, but I'd look into some 3-note per string. scales because a lot of these sort of big fast drums has that sort of.
You say that though, you then get Steve Vai. Oh, maybe not. It's not the guitar, it's my £2 eBay adapter that's playing up. For the Love of God is a mega song, but ish.
For the love of God, hit that right
note. I was up late last night trying to learn it. I got back at the moon though. Back at the moon. That's really melodic and calculated, a bit like Gary Moore. I was speaking to one of the students the other day about Gary Moore. At the end of his career, he was shredding. Just before he died, it's like, I'm 58 and I can. But actually, it was a lot slower early on. So I think, yes, 3-note per string stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, there's a lot of time in a lot of these things.
We talked about it before, sextuplets.
Yes.
It's all sex. Like, there's a Racer X song that I've been trying to learn called Scarified. Paul Gilbert did it. I'm not going to try and play the rest of it because it's been kicking my head in all week. But it's all. Did you hear that? Though?
Yeah,
I'm sort of trying to jam 6 notes into where 4 should be.
Nuno does stuff like that.
Well, I know you're really into that, aren't you?
There's not as many notes being crammed in, but it's still more than you expect.
Yeah, and I think it's just the ability to be able to go faster, you know?
Yeah.
I would use the lesson that I did on Living on a Prayer would probably be a good one to start. I'd look at something with pinch harmonics.
Pinch harmonics. Another one is palm muting.
Right, okay.
Motley Crue and Steel Panther. I know they sort of aim to recapture what we're talking about, but that's palm mute. But the aggression, but that's all palm muted. And then letting it out again, it's that light and dark sort of thing. And Motley Crue, what is it? I think it's Live Wire. One of the Motley Crue.
Yeah.
But Mick Mars played Les Paul.
But like he Kickstart My Heart and all.
Yeah.
You know, all those
meant to sound like
a
bike changing gear on the motorway. Yeah.
But I used to do that. I used to try and make it sound like.
I once did a Formula One car with a slide.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like an old V10 Formula One from the noughties. We're getting away from it again a little bit.
We are,
so the music that came from it, think of Poison, Motley Crue, Ozzy Osbourne, Def Leppard.
Like later
Metallica,
Alice Cooper stuff.
Alice Cooper, yeah. It's all great. I mean, I've got a few more examples down there. I don't need to play them all. Mm-hmm. But they're just... It's quite a guilty pleasure. Whitesnake. Are we not? Still of the Night, Whitesnake. Such cool riffs.
So, what are some good options for somebody that wants to dip the toe into the Super Strat? What, say something with somebody with a sort of £200 to £500 budget. What would you recommend somebody go for?
So, I think Harley Benton is your friend. Now, this is a higher up Harley Benton. This is Renault Guards. It's quite an expensive Harley Benton unit, but you can get hold of a Harley Benton Super Strat sort of thing. You're just looking for a Stratocaster with a tremolo system and a humbucking pickup. Tick, tick, done. You can spend 200, 300 quid on those. Facebook Marketplace, the used market, you pick up a load of old Ibanez's. Ibanez's aren't that expensive if you go for an entry-level one, but they are light as a feather. If you don't tie it down, it'll float away. Yeah. What else is there? You can actually, to be fair, if you want something more versatile, you could get hold of a bullet strap with a humbucker in the bridge. It's not as hardcore,
no,
but you still got that humbucker sound.
A little bit of that flavour. I would just say if you are going to do the Facebook Marketplace or eBay thing that somebody else has had, just like if you're looking at listings and the bridge is really, 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 really raised. I know this one's raised a little bit, but it's because I've been farting about with it. stay clear, you know. And I think as well, you should always have a little bit of money in the pot for a decent setup from a reputable.
Definitely.
I mean, we've both picked these up recently, but they will be working their way up to the repair shop at the top of the road at some point in the not too distant future.
See, these retail just under £500. I think they're out of stock at the minute. They don't come up very often, as I said. This has got what we call dragon heart strings on it. Dragon skin strings.
Right.
They're 10s, which are unusual on a Super Strat, but I like 10s. And they're a really good high quality string.
Are they?
I'm really getting on with them, you know.
Okay.
But that's the thing. You want ideal on a Super Strat 9s to get away with all these silly bends. Mm-hmm. But it depends where you're at in your playing journey and what you play usually, because this won't feel anything like your Telecaster or your Les Paul.
Yeah, I think sort of a good place to start. Your Bon Jovis and that kind of stuff. Maybe a bit of Motley Crue and that sort of plenty of
chugs. It's all in the right hand. All in the right
stuff.
hand.
Okay. So I think we should move on to us pick our brains.
Yes.
Section
very
today.
quickly, a fleeting visit, but in the Gary Moore comments, I think there was one name that came up more than Gary Moore, and it was David Gilmour.
Mr. Gilmour.
Yeah. Dark Side of the Moon. So yeah, I think next artist profile we've got to do David Gilmour, haven't we?
Okay. Sort of in a month's time or so.
Yeah, we'll do some homework.
Yeah.
Get some...
Can we? Yeah. And try not to screw that one up.
Yeah, David Gilmour played for the band called The Beatles. Have you ever heard of them? Yeah, we can talk about that. We can talk about Sid Barrett as well, who we replaced before.
Right, okay.
So yeah,
you're far more into that than me, so we've half a chance of cracking it this time. So
yeah, but Super Strats, I think we're calling it there.
I think we should. I think we've shown them off enough, and I think they're. I wouldn't play one as my full-time guitar.
See, this, because of I've been teaching with this over the week. It's really funny watching students go, he's got a new guitar, but I don't want to say, have you got a new guitar? Because I play a different guitar every week.
I have a different relationship. I have a different relationship with my students. It's just like, you've done it again.
Yeah. This is very versatile.
Yeah.
On a clean tone, this actually sounds really wicked game. Neck pickup, coil tap, sounds lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a one. Whenever you're picking this up, it's not on a clean tone. Like, stop it, turn the gain on. Fab. So,
right then, we'll call that for this week. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4.